Evening, everybody. How are you? Hope you're all doing well tonight. Going to bring on Elaine. Hello, Elaine. How are
Hello,
you
you
tonight?
alright?
I'm all right. You all right?
I'm alright.
Good. Um, oh, hang on. Comments already. And our guest for tonight is Miles Ellis, who you've seen before.
Hi.
Hello, Miles.
Hello.
Ah, Fiona, just a person. You sent me a message yesterday about Elaine's welly boots, and I sent you a message back. Well, I don't think you got it because according to my thing, I didn't send anything. Anyway, I did. I did ask you, by the way, just in case I thought I was being rude. Anyway, hello Elaine, hello Fiona, hello Sue. So, what have we all been up to, guys? Oh, before we start, I'm going to want to put this up. My shelves are straight and not on the piss. I'm going to make it quite clear because I had an Elaine last week. They were straight and they are straight now, just the camera. So there we are. That'll be coming up, fleshing up quite a bit tonight. I'm not exactly the handyman, but they ain't. It looks really bad, honestly. Must be cameras. Still, as long as you don't spoil the good looks, Elaine, that's the main thing, eh? Anyway, I don't know, come out with some crap on once. And probably not politically correct to say things like that now. My. Anyway, where are we? Go back to the comments. Miles, I know I was chatting earlier.
Yeah.
So, what have you been up to? I know you've been down to Rendlesham. I know.
I've been to Rendlesham today and yesterday. I've share what I've counted. It's always the way when I go to Rendlesham. I don't count nothing after, but then afterwards I then count stuff. So I did a bit of remote viewing after I left Rendlesham at these two locations which I've never been before in the rest of my life. Area 1, never been, and very very interesting actually what I got, because I just got this very bright light, which the first image I got, and then the second image was this craft which was, it looked like it was coming down into the forest, and then it landed, and then there was some sort of connection with military, in the sense that the military were there, and these beings, the way I can describe it, were beings really like light beings with dark eyes, but quite small. And what I kind of felt is that they were discussing about some sort of, of the path we are on currently, we need to kind of change. And they were showing me an image of like, this is kind of the future if we change our path. And then the other path was absolute destruction. So they showed me those two images, and it was more kind of telling, what I got impression was people higher up in the government, that if you do not change your course, this is what's going to happen. And it was almost like, the feeling I've got was like they delivered a message. And then as I was coming out, the next kind of feeling I've got was there is some sort of, I want to say, portal in Rendlesham, in smack bang middle of the forest, where different beings come in and out of, through these portals, which I was later told that actually that's how we see different beings, is they come through these, in Rendlesham they come through these portals. My Reiki master, she's had seen this portal in Rendlesham, and she lived there for quite some time, and she used to say she used to see craft literally coming over the base, even sometimes like low or high, and then disappearing, or like a blue light or green light. And she said it happened frequently on a daily. And she did say like there was one encounter where this object came and it disappeared, and then probably straight after that a military helicopter came. So it's kind of
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I believe in portals, and kind of you do, Elaine, but definitely not just there. I mean, they're everywhere, I'd imagine. People just Barry sent me some things the other day about time slips. That's interesting.
I've heard about them, but never experienced them.
No, I don't think I've ever experienced
Because
one.
I've heard people been walking in the forest, and all of a sudden they kind of hit a time slip, and they're gone for like a split, like a quite long hours, and then they're back. But I never. The only things I experienced in that forest without doing remote viewing is probably cryptoids. I haven't seen any UFOs at all. I've seen orbs, but I haven't seen what people have said, like they've seen crafts go over there. Only time I actually see a craft is when I remote view. That's the only time, but I've never seen it, physically seen it, a craft.
See, really, I suppose now there's no need to have any UFOs over Woodbridge, because I don't think there's anything there that are any use to it now. But as this professor said the other day, there's a lot of energy, and probably from when they were there in the 80s and maybe before that. But I mean, what do I know? And I've seen things in there, and as I said before we came on, when me and my friends saw those half a dozen, I don't know what you call them, shadow people, I suppose, running through the woods before they cut those trees down. And I never videoed it, never took any pictures. I'm gutted now, because I will never see that again.
It's always the way, isn't it? You turn off your recording, and then something happens. And it's like, damn it, I've missed it. And I've done that multiple times in that forest, and it's like, oh, you get frustrated that you missed it.
You know, I've had some scary things happening there over the last sort of 12 years, I suppose. It was more than that, maybe 14 years I've done it. And I was just thinking today, what an idiot, I didn't record it. But it happened so quick. And the day that those searchlights appeared. Now that's interesting, because I don't know whether it was Gary Hesseltine on this video last night, or the professor talking about these headlights. And then we saw orange orbs, but the orange orbs, when we got back to the car, we're in the car and couldn't get the car open. And there's been talk about these orange orbs, and people who know me, I don't make things up. No point. These things happen, but it's only sitting there thinking, damn, it's happened so quick, and it is a bit scary. Didn't take any photographs, but would the photos come out? When that UFO come above me in Benwaters that night, with the security guard, who we haven't seen since, have we? Or his wife. Since that night, gone. I had the camera, but I didn't take a picture of it. But there you go, it happened, and other things. But you can't, you can take pictures, they may not even come out.
Yeah.
I think it may be just for you, or, just for the individual to see, I don't know. It's interesting, though.
Yeah, I mean, when I went today with where the landing site was, what is known as, Area 1, was very interesting, because it's quite concerning, because those people, reported that when it landed, there was radiation, and it's almost like where they kind of put the statue, where it is now is I'm kind of sitting there thinking, well, they've done that because of the radiation, because it was a point the radiation was really high when it hit the ground, and so it kind of, I'm sitting there like, is that probably why they moved it there, or is it because to get to Area 1 you have to walk on that road, and is it because of that reason?
It's probably the nearest place to put it, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I don't know, a fascinating place.
It is really fascinating. I did do when we were down there yesterday. I did, obviously after I had that. It was literally when Mum spent the dogs on. We had this massive. It literally was a typical Sasquatch sound, followed after by dogs barking. And then I was like, oh, let's just see if I, play a recording, see what happens, just curiosity. And literally a head pop out of a tree. But the weird thing was, like, if you took a picture of it, you couldn't see it, but you could see it with your own eye. Which is...
Yeah, that's what I mean, you
strange.
I mean, I've got strange things, as you know, strange photographs. Whether people believe them or not, I don't. It's up to them. But I didn't actually see these figures. That's what came out in the camera.
Yeah.
Same as when it was with Elaine. There was a few of us there, and I've got this thing looks like I don't know, some sort of strange-looking animal coming out of the trees. Now, if we'd seen that with our eyes, we'd have freaked, wouldn't we? What we'd have done. I'd have said, go and sort that out, Elaine.
Go on.
Yeah, go on, Elaine. Go and have a look at that. You're brave. And but no, if we'd seen that, or that airy thing down across the path, I don't know. Or monks hanging from trees, which are,
I mean, that would freak me out if I just saw this, like a dark figure or something just appear and just walk past. That would freak me out, and I probably wouldn't go down by that trail for a good couple of years without, with just people with me.
But there's loads of places you can walk around. You see things, wherever it could be in London, could be anywhere.
Yeah.
And trying to think of all the things that have happened to me over the years, some really strange things. But I don't know, you just kind of forget about it, because there's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
And these portals, I don't know, I'm not a scientist, but people just sort of walk in, don't they, and vanish, and end up, I don't know, 60 years ago, Elaine, don't they? Like an aeroplane that flies around, and
yeah,
it's like it's about 50 years old, but they've seen it on the radar.
I think obviously when my friend figured out that I was doing remote viewing, he went, well, can you look into Stonehenge? And I was like, bit kind of hesitant. I was like, yeah, okay, I'll look into it. So I kind of looked into Stonehenge, and I was actually blown away what I actually seen and picked up on. What I picked up on is Stonehenge is like an interdimensional gateway, and stuff comes through in and out. I've also got, there's a reason you don't see these craft is like there's a frequency, and you have to be at that certain frequency to see it. But there's craft that comes in and out, which is connected to crop circles to that day. And I also picked up on, like, because loads of people going there, I also picked up like the energy is kind of just stuck to this stones, which is accidentally kind of closed the interdimensional gateway, but it's open in summer solstice. Because if you go to summer solstice, you feel it. This massive, it's right in the centre of the stones, because that's the only time you can actually go into stones if you want to pay ridiculous prices to go and stand in the
You can't go in there, can you?
No. But when it's summer solstice, you go now, you can feel the energy which is in the stones.
It's not all those people having a bit of puff down there.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, I know, Elaine. Oh, I shouldn't say things like that. Just things come into my head, Not that I've done that sort of thing.
So I've done a bit of, apart from Mention Forest, I've done a little bit of obviously Stonehenge and remote viewings. One in America, Arizona, which is reported to be where you could go there and it's really good healing with the energies in Arizona. One of my persons went, because one of my persons really, what I say, believes practically every single conspiracy theory you can possibly imagine. He would believe it no matter what. And he was like, "Oh, he kept banging on about this. There's a underground base in the in Arizona where these ET things come in and out," and I was a bit hesitant. I was like, because I always take things with a pinch of salt, and I was like, no, not really. And then he did convince me to kind of remote through it for him, and I remote viewed, and I was kind of shocked. What I kind of received was, first image I saw was this rock, and then I was being kind of pulled underground, and they call it Hollow Earth, and the way I could describe it, just this city I saw underneath, which is called, there's a species down there there's a reptoid species down there, which are connected, they descended from dinosaurs. There's also the Ngarthans who live there, and it's called the Ngarthan Network down there, which I was very interested in. And there's different species what live there, and I also got, it's a spaceport where different things come in and out, and there's some sort of there's human beings who are down there, but I kind of got that also something to do with the military, but I didn't look into that part. But when you're remote viewing, you're seeing it from not your point of view, but someone else's point of view. So you're seeing it through someone else's eyes is what essentially what you're doing with remote viewing. And I was seeing it through this other species' eyes, and how this city is, and you are consciously aware, so they're aware of you and you're aware of them. And it was very interesting actually, of this, because I was I thought I'd go and look at remote view it, probably not going to find nothing, and I was blown away what I kind of found. I think what I found really interesting was the way they come in and out. There's a passage, and this ET was, this Garfin was telling me that it's got like a hologram, so it would look like a normal rock, but it's not a normal rock, and that's where these craft come in, and it's not actually hitting a rock, it's actually going through this opening which is kind of disguised as a rock, which I felt that was very interesting. But the first ones I kind of met were the reptoids, and they kind of, reptilians, they live like their own little group, but kind of out, the way I could describe it's outskirts of the city, and then you've got this main, it's massive, it's really big. I've spoken to other remote viewers, and they've said exactly the same thing. They have gone down there, and they have seen this city, and they've seen the Garthans. And I said, have you ever had because I've never had anything follow me back when I've done remote viewing, and I said, when I said, right, I'm finishing, that's it, pulled away, and this Garthan followed me back home. And I got the impression that it was kind of curious why I was kind of, remote viewing the base. And obviously, I asked it to go, and it did go eventually. But I've spoken to multiple independent remote viewers, and they've all said exactly the same thing as what I saw and what I was remote viewing, which validates to me that it wasn't me kind of making it up, but multiple different remote viewers see exactly the same thing as what I saw, which was very interesting.
I mean, the Americans years ago tried to get, I think a film called Men That Stare at Goats, I think it was called. That was all about remote viewing. Yeah, it can be done. I say it happened to me when I was doing that reading for that woman. That was really strange, but she said it was all exact. And this took me to another part of the world.
Wow.
Um, but you talk to people about this, they think you're nuts. But it does seem hard to, it does seem hard to believe that you can see things. It used to happen, not a lot, but it happened a bit when I used to do the mediumship. I used to do the platform work. But there were a lot of funny things happen when I was doing that. But yeah, it's interesting.
It's very interesting. But then, wasn't it? Someone pointed out that the American government did have a Stargate program, and they were doing remote viewing, but obviously doing it for intelligence. But there was a program what the CIA did in America, and they had remote viewers, and it was called Stargate, and the visual documents were out there, and they did have remote viewers looking into secrets, other countries' intelligence and that. So the military kind of are aware of what remote viewing is, and I've never did remote viewing until I read when I did my Reiki, and then my energy kind of opened up, and then that's when I started to kind of visit locations without going to that location and seeing it what it was actually there, but not from my eyes, but someone else's eyes, which.
I didn't know you did Reiki.
Yeah, I started. Crikey, when did I start? I started, last month of doing Reiki with my Reiki teacher. Obviously, when they do the symbols, people do experience, kind of going. And it was very interesting because my soul, when she was doing the symbols and that and blowing into my energy aura, my soul actually left my physical body. It kind of left and then kind of came back. And that's when I kind of met my guide, who is, funny enough, who is an ED guide, which I've never seen. My mum's got a North American guide, and it's one of those things that you want to meet a guide, but you don't want to meet a guide. And I've kind of walked away from doing mediumship, just altogether, because it's like I don't want to do it anymore. So I started. That's when I kind of went, do you know what? I've had Reiki healing, and actually want to do Reiki now. And when I started to do Reiki, I then had all these other experiences where, I met my guide, and then from there I could then go and visit locations remotely. It was only when I said to my Reiki master, I can kind of go to locations without actually being there. And that's when it said, well, you're going to a really high vibration, and then that's why you can go to these locations. And it says she said it's a very unique gift to have. So yeah.
Elaine, have you ever seen your guide?
No. No.
No, just curious. Some people have seen them. Well, you've all gone. I've had a couple.
Yeah, I've seen
one. But funny enough, one was a Templar.
Oh.
Big Templar guy. Which is quite interesting as well, because, I don't know what brought me to Suffolk. This is really, I don't know what brought me to Suffolk. I've always kind of liked it. But when I look round, Dunwich, at a Templars church in Dunwich. So the Templars are around, and I've had other people, seen people. I just wondered, Elaine, if you've ever seen yours,
No, I used to, when I used to wake up when I was a young teen, not saying how old I am, but back then TV used to switch off.
How old are you, Elaine? About 23?
Well, the TV used to switch off at 12, didn't it? And go all fuzzy, didn't it? That white static, you know what I mean? White and grey static.
Yeah.
What?
I always saw one female and two males. I couldn't obviously see them physically. It was on the TV, but they kept walking backwards and forwards, stop. Look like they're looking out, if you see what I mean. And then one would walk off, one would come back. I never knew what that was. I don't know if that's a way of seeing your guides or that was completely separate. I really don't know.
When I saw my guides, it was from when she was doing the symbols. It was like, where I describe it as like, you're seeing it from far distance and it's coming closer and closer and closer and closer and closer and closer until you're physically, not physically, but you're like, she's there. And I thought she was a Pleiadian. And immediately, she said, oh yeah, I'm your guide, I'm Pleiadian, I'm a ET from a different planet. And ever since then, I've seen her probably twice. But that's only when I actually go in remote fuse locations, she's there guiding me through. But I don't have conversations with her all the time. But that's probably when I did Reiki, that's when I first met my guide, was when she was doing the symbols. And that's when I met her. Other than that, no, never met my guides at all. Wanted to, really badly wanted to.
We've all got them, you know.
Oh yeah.
No, you know, if you see them, you're lucky. I think you're lucky. But you know, there's always someone guiding us. When I think about things that come in, I do something, and you think, and it happens quite a lot. You know, should I go left, right, whatever? And something tells you. That's a simple thing.
Yeah.
You know, do I left, right. You know, if you're driving, for example. But I get a lot of stuff, and I think, yeah, there's definitely something teaching me, guiding me. But you know, we've all got them. It's people. You know, I think people are so busy now, or they've been for a long time. They don't really. They're not involved with that sort of thing.
mean,
and do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think I'm always tuned into the other side. And I think I've been for a long time. I don't mean that's anything special. That's why I never used to go through all that woo-woo stuff. Because it just happened. And so I'm sure you're linked in.
Yeah.
Or they're linked in. You know.
I mean, Taylor, when I do my Reiki healing, my guide's there, guiding me through it. So as I'm doing my healing or doing healing on other people, I just finished my 24/8 days, so I can only heal, close friends, because you have to be level 2 to start healing on other people, and you have to have insurance and that. So when I'm healing myself or my family or my friends, my guide's there, guide me through it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It just said there, acceptable on the box, and now it says universal. That's quite interesting, because accepting that there are invisible people, if you like, looking after us.
And you do talk to them, but it's like you're talking almost like in the head, like you're not physically talking to them, but you're talking to them in your own mind, and it's them. I can't describe the feeling you get.
Let's just say they got me out of a few sticky situations. Say no more. But that's people wouldn't believe me, but that's entirely up to them. But it's an interesting thing, But I think people make too much out of this, do you have to do this to get your guides? But they're real. You've had one since the day you were born. You had before you were born, by the way.
Yeah.
Really.
That's why I don't really. When I first did it, I was like, oh, I want, really want to do, going to haunted locations and watching these TV shows. And then it came, very apparently when Most Haunted fold, that half of their scenes were, faked. And now it's like, you get genuine ones and then you get ones who kind of fake the activity. But what I'm noticing is everybody's doing the paranormal. And it's just, with me, it kind of felt like, no, not really gonna do that.
Well, this is why on a Sunday now we just chit chat about anything, because everywhere you look, someone's doing something paranormal. So many channels, that's fine. So many channels, paranormal this, paranormal that. And I think it gets a bit, sometimes gets a bit too much.
Yeah, it does.
And it reminds me of the 70s, early 70s, when blues was very popular, blues music.
Yeah.
And everybody was a blues player. But it was only very few that could actually play it, could feel it. And I feel the same with this stuff. And in the end, it gets so much, it just goes. And something else has to come in. And I don't mean to sound bitchy, you know what I mean? But I think it's there's so much of this stuff out there now. But also I feel, can I talk for myself, all the things that have happened to me, but when I tell people, they go, oh really? Not really interested. Which is fine, that's fine. And I find that a lot of this stuff that people talk about is all secondhand.
Yeah.
And so I just feel now, I just think, I just do what I do. I've had my experiences. There's some pretty scary shit as well. But no one wants to listen. That's fine. But it's what's happening. So we on a Sunday now, we just let it go with the flow, don't we, Elaine? And people seem to enjoy it. Oh, there's a thing here, look. Hello, Joe. Everyone has multiple guides. I agree with that.
I agree with that.
While we're putting things up, I must put this banner up. Elaine's eyes are going to roll now. Ready? Here we go. My shelves are straight, not on the piss, okay? Because I had comments last week.
Oh
From Elaine mostly. Those shelves.
no. I just love the fact he just shame blames Lane straight off the bat.
No, she did. She did the next day. She did your shelf. I said, I know, but they are not. They're straight. So that banner stayed in. Can't move them again. Right, let's crank on.
I mean,
Elaine, the thing is, with Elaine, she'd always tell me the truth, wouldn't you? Elaine, she don't care. Your shelves are crooked.
Yeah, but isn't it better to say the truth than
keep the
support a
truth
lie?
in.
It's this camera. It's supposed to be a good camera, but it showed everything up. Anyway, there you go, guys. They're not. They're straight as a die.
Obviously, the map which I'm building,
Mm-hmm.
that we're getting. I'm seeing some patterns on there of hotspot areas in the forest from people coming forward, but it's quite a slow process, because when you start putting it out there, people don't come forward straight away. You have to go on these like UFO groups to kind of really kind of get it out there, and then get other people to then encourage people. I've had one group where I put it out there and one person said, oh, Wrencham Forest, well, we know what happened in the forest. That's it.
Exactly.
We know the truth.
Well, I can tell those people after 12 or 14 years, however long I've been going down there, I've witnessed things in there. I'm too old to make things up. I don't need to make things up. I don't make money from it. But I'm telling you, things have happened to me in there. Elaine will tell you. She's witnessed it, and her brother had the same. I can't tell you, and that's what I'm saying. I regret not taking photographs, especially of those half a dozen what I call shadow people running through the trees like that. But I have a witness for that, but I can't mention her name because I don't see her anymore. It's not fair to mention people's names in this. But people say, oh, that happened, but it's still happening. It's still happening. I met a woman in there. Me and my mate, Brian, he's not with us now. She appeared from nowhere. I don't mean an old-fashioned dress. And she said, where are you going? I said, we're trying to get back to the car park. I was way out. And she vanished as quick as she appeared. So what I'm saying is, there are, but it happened so quick. I couldn't say hello, you were a ghost. I mean,
Yeah.
just and then vanished.
But what I kind of picked up
But
when I was leaving, coming out of motoring, is that, you know, people ask the same questions over and over again. I just felt like it was the energy in the forest, and what I was getting from the views was that it's kind of just fed up of people going in there and just, you kind of like asking it to like, oh, what happened in the forest, and it's kind of like, I got fed up with it. Like it was like the feeling of just being absolutely fed up of people
to
just
see
coming in.
2 weeks, was it last week? 2 weeks ago, we had Joe Turner on here. Joe, known her, probably known her about 10 years. She knows all about the Orsini and Boudica.
Yeah.
So you had all that, you had those characters in it. Yeah. And don't forget, the forest was only planted in 1919. So it hasn't always been a forest.
No.
There's so much going on in and so Suffolk is a fascinating place. You've got Orford Ness. I want to go over and have a look round here. And I'm sure it's all connected. Because they were up to all sorts of experiments on that island. I've been over there twice now. Interesting.
I mean,
So-
I kind of wish that I went to the forest when the Forestry Commission didn't fellow all these trees, and I could visit where the craft landed, because people were saying, wasn't it, Butler was saying, was that when Brenda Butler was saying that when you went to the location where it landed, that you could see score marks, you could see branches cut off. There was like actual evidence of something coming down, and there was also radiation. But obviously, because they've got rid of the trees now, you can't take photos. And it's just like, to find the location, it's like you really have to have coordinates or know the location to find it.
You know, and I'll say it before, the photograph of my daughter and granddaughter by the tree, opposite the farmer's field, this energy around her is unbelievable.
Wow.
And the figure next to her. But if you go back on my videos or our videos, when did we have John Burroughs on, Elaine? A couple of years ago? I mean, John Burroughs was there. He was one of the M, and he was there. And people, if they look at that video, he explains quite a lot.
Wow.
Really nice guy. And I don't know if he'd ever come back on here again, I'm not sure. And Ronnie Dugdale is another one, because he knew John. But he was there the night that thing landed. So, I don't know. But I don't worry about it. I find whatever else is going on in here is quite fascinating. You know?
Yeah.
What's this, Fiona?
Yeah, I just saw a comment. It just pinged a minute ago.
I remember the night Elaine's brother was on with the flashing lights. Oh, yeah. It was. He said about pictures on his FB of Bren Forest. He was standing with the forest at his back, and behind him was a strange ET-like being standing. Does Elaine remember seeing the picture? I remember the night when the lights went off in the kitchen. It freaked him out, didn't it? Poor Derek. That was, I've got to admit, that was one of the funniest things I've seen on here. But
that would freak you out if you're just sitting in your house and all of a sudden the lights just kind of go off. That would freak you out.
You know, we were doing an interview. What was going on?
Oh my God.
Again, it's on the videos. We've got 200 odd videos on here.
What kind of beings were they you caught in the photo?
I don't know. I
Were
can't
they
remember
quite
the
like
name,
small kind of faces?
The one, I know I keep showing this. I've done this before. I'll show you. This is my door. If I've still got it on here. And there it is. Right. Look at the energy around my daughter, my granddaughter. But we don't know who this figure is behind her. Now, this is the tree. As you come up that track, you turn right, and that's the tree by the farmer's field.
Yeah.
But look at all this energy. And if
Oh
you
my
listen
God.
to this Professor Simon Holland, I think his name is, he talks about the energy around that time and whatever those Americans were doing in that place as well. I mean, they were probably up to all sorts as well. And but look at the energy around her. Look at the other photographs I've got. The things Derek got in there. I've got people hanging from trees. What the hell's that all about?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I've been down there and took the thermal with me. This is one of probably the second time I got this thermal, and I've seen. It was funny enough. I went past the deer, and then all of a sudden I saw this figure. It was quite a small figure, and it was standing there. So I was like, oh, it's just a solid object, nothing to think about. And all of a sudden, it kind of like dashed into the tree. Like it went into the tree, and it was gone. And that was on thermal. I had to slow it down though because it was my thermal camera it kept what's the word, configuring itself, and it was so annoying. I did get it though after it stopped configuring.
Right. Joe's put up as well. Joe's put it up there as well. The ghost box says the word soldier. So is that a soldier next to my door? Often wondered that. Elaine, Fiona, looked like was it a grey in Derek's picture? I don't remember that picture. Elaine might have it on her phone, maybe. I don't remember that picture.
Oh yeah, I can see it.
Oh yeah, that's Derek. Behind him.
Yeah.
I think I've got that picture actually. Well. When was that, Elaine? How long ago was that? 5-6 years ago?
Because
I don't know. I'll have to take them investigate them.
Because people do report seeing these kind of greys in orbs, or almost like they're behind them. But like those other reports that they're being small, like they're like small, and people see them with their eyes.
Yeah, Joe says greys are much smaller.
Yeah, and I've seen them.
But there must be loads of places in this country. Well, the United Kingdom, Scotland, Ireland, Wales, lots of places where this sort of stuff goes on. I don't know if this is the most haunted islands in the. I don't know. I think there's a lot of activity in
I know we've got haunted
UK.
locations, and I know Wrensham Forest is probably well known for its, not just because of the UFO, but well known for its other things.
Probably
as well.
mostly the UFO. I think it's mostly the UFO thing because that's obviously all people talk about on it, but there's much more to it.
And more times I had our conversation, you do realise it's not just UFO. There's like cryptoids, there's ETs, there's spirits, there's orbs. It's just not just UFO, aliens. There is more to the forest. There's more what people see, there's more people report. And do you know what? Quite a lot of people are shocked. Because they just think, oh, what? Mansion Forest, oh yeah, the incident. But once you start, these are like actual people who investigate this, and you start, showing them it, and they're like, well, I never knew that. I never knew like a Bigfoot. I never knew you'd see a big cat or a ghost. And it kind of widens their spectrum of like, I just assumed it was just where the ETs landed.
See, Mike remembers all this stuff. He's good at this. Yeah, Simon Holland's comment that Suffolk is an area of reduced reality makes total sense. There's something about this area, not just Rendlesham, Dulwich, all these places, and Norfolk as well. It's according to Simon Holland, there was a head of British witchcraft or something, lived at Butley,
Oh yeah.
near Butley. So you've got all that going on as well. And anyone who's walked through the forest who's never may go down an adventure, you often see things built up out of sticks, don't you?
Yeah.
What's that all about? There's rumours that Alistair Crowley went down here doing this thing. I'm not sure about that. But yeah, there's a lot of witchcraft there. So,
I mean, loads of that.
I think if you're susceptible to it, I am, Elaine, other people who aren't, nothing happens.
Yeah.
But if you are, then you're going to pick up on this stuff.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what that Simon Holland said, this energy.
People said, like, oh, you should, like, go to Thetford, because there's reports in Thetford.
Been there, nothing.
And people say, oh, yeah, we see Sasquatch in there, we see cats. I was like, yeah, I kind of go to Thetford, but it's quite far where I live. And I was like,
I've been there. I didn't feel anything at all.
Nothing. Like, you
I
felt
didn't
nothing
know.
there.
No. Elaine, I don't know. Oh, that's what I'm looking for. Elaine, Sasquatch built those things too.
What, she's seen them? In
Wendy, size 8, used to find the occultist stuff so easily. Spooked pulled out of me a few times. Saw a picture of her yesterday, Wendy, size 8, camping somewhere.
Yeah, well, I've seen spooks. It's kind of a bit, they have, I was telling you this, they closed part of the trail down, and with these black cars. Now, Forestry Commission cars are supposedly the only cars that can go down there, unless military are doing military training. And I was walking down this trail, and you could clearly tell, like, the gate was closed. I wasn't really looking at a padlock. We got halfway up this trail. I think it was on, I want to say track 10. And we were walking up this, got halfway up, and this black vehicle, all blacked out. And then these men in black said, oh, sorry, you can't go down there. It's closed. And they didn't give me a exact reason why it was closed. It was just like, you can't go down that trail. So we had to turn back.
We was down there one day, Elaine, Simon and his husband and me. And we were looking along what they call track 7. Don't know what it is now. And Elaine vanished for what? 15 minutes. You remember that, Elaine? No, I reckon. I don't know what
Yeah.
she said she didn't. Am I right or am I right? You said that you were next, didn't you?
Yeah.
So
But you weren't.
So what do you mean, like she walked into something and then she was gone?
I reckon she went off for a Jimmy Riddle, is what I think, but she was a long time. Sorry, Elaine, if I embarrass you, but I thought, well, she's probably... Anyway, she's gone.
Oh my God.
Bloody hell, she's gone. And Simon, right, and I'm telling you, I've known Simon a long time, you can see he was worried. Where the hell's she gone? But Elaine reckons she weren't. She reckons she was walking. You were alongside us, weren't you? But we couldn't see her.
Yeah, I was. You were like in the forest, and I was sort of like slightly out, but I was actually walking with you, looking at you two.
We
while you
couldn't
were
see
walking
her.
in, it's quiet.
And I saw Simon's face, and I thought, he was getting worried.
Yeah, because
Not really embarrassing. He was getting very, very. You could tell. Cross, where was she gone?
Yeah.
Must be 15, 20 minutes. She's got from. She's had a long time. Anyway, Elaine says no. She was walking with us.
So I'm kind of getting
Unbelievable.
that she kind of, the way I'm getting is that I've been told like she kind of went into like a different dimension and that's why you couldn't see her. It's almost like the way I'm getting this image is like you kind of walked into something and that's why you kind of vanished and you went to like a different dimension and
She
then
went somewhere.
you came back.
She went somewhere.
But it was a brief. It wasn't like you were permanently there.
But she could see us.
Yeah, that would be because of the.
I mean, if I wouldn't
Dimension.
ask someone to come on, but I'm telling you, known a long time, and I've never seen anyone look so worried.
Did you see anything when you went?
You saw us, didn't you? She was looking at us, but where was she? She wasn't there.
Did she see
Yeah,
anything else?
when
Or
you two were walking,
yeah,
you two were picking up the pace, calling me. I was literally, I'm looking, actually thinking of it now. How can I walk straight if I was turning around looking at you two walking along with you?
I'm just getting you went into you walked into a dimension. The dimension shift.
She went somewhere.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of getting at.
And in fact, I haven't been down it right the way down the bottom of that track since that day. But I've been on there in the daytime with the camera. I've got some fantastic orbs. This is in the daylight. So much going on in there. But I haven't been to the bottom of that track since Elaine vanished.
Now, have I been down that track? I think I have.
I think she probably thought I'd get me home back on those two. But
Was that track 10?
I don't know what it is now.
Because they keep changing it, and I'm really confused.
Yeah, they do keep changing it. But look. Joe says her ex got totally freaked out in his camper van in the Thetford Forest at night. Phoned me from the roof. What's he
Oh
doing
my
on the?
god!
What are you doing on the roof, Joe? I was like,
What did he see? What
Dunno.
freaked him out?
Don't know.
I mean,
Was this? You took pictures of that day, that particular track with nothing on it. When I saved it to my phone, you could clearly see three men standing in one particular with a military look about him. 95th American, like you'd see in the old B movies. I saved it on my phone. What a photo I took is that? Fiona, for sending it to me. So yeah, I'll say people. I'd like to ask. I spoke to the guy who bought the, the cottage, with the witch thing on top.
oh yeah,
I spoke to him when he bought the place. He said to me, I was going back about 6-7 years now. He said, when I've done it up, he said, come in, have a look. But I haven't seen him since. He'd be interesting to talk to, and the people who actually live in the houses in the forest.
yeah.
I'd like to speak to them because they probably think we're all nuts.
But then saying
do they-
that, they've probably
Do they
seen
think
things. They've probably seen things in that forest which they generally can't explain, or seen orbs. And, they probably have seen things.
Ah. Oh, was that the picture, Fiona? Ah, have a look at that. Interesting. Got anything you want to say, Elaine? Very quiet tonight.
No, sorry, I'm still in thought of all that, what we were just talking about, of the angle that I was watching YouTube, but I thought I was walking straight. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm thrown up like that at the moment because I haven't actually thought about that before.
But I'm not kidding. It's you gone, mate. Oh, hello, Henry. How's the US of A? Hot, I would imagine. There's a Gulf wind blowing out here. I can hear that somewhere. It's really blowy, isn't it? Joe, he could hear something large breaking sticks and large footsteps, so he dashed up a ladder in a panic. Oh my God!
Well, there is reports in Thetford of really big reports of Sasquatch in there, or big apes being seen in Thetford area. People have seen.
Elaine says, did you and Andy see butterflies in abundance? I think we did. Andy mentioned that on one of his shows. I think we did. We did see a lot of butterflies. The questions tonight. Oh, so a witch, Faith Mills, was chased and executed in 1645 and buried at Marston Blake House, which I think is at Rendlesham. The Marston family were murdered there in 1935 when radar tests were going on. Ooh, we'll have to look into that one, Elaine. Marston Blake House.
I didn't know that.
I ain't got my pen, innit, Mark? I haven't got a pen with me.